I'm really speechless. My father not only hid his status as a billionaire. Even the baby kiss that has been destined since birth requires me to lick him every day. As a result, I became what my classmates called a down-and-out loser. Then, with the support of my father, I carefully pursued the person of my dreams for 18 years. However, in the end, you only got one sentence from him: you are a good person. However, at today's Spring Festival Gala birthday party, his words completely woke me up. I really hate you for always pestering me. Maybe my life would be better without you. Chen Wan's ruthless words cut my heart so hard that I decided to keep a distance from this woman. I have lived in the imperial capital since I was 5 years old. I became classmates with Chen Wan. My parents have always taught me. I am a brother, a man. Chen Wan, she is both a sister and a princess. I was asked to protect the princess like the most loyal knight in the fairy tale, and I have always done so, from childhood to adulthood. Chen Wan, I felt aggrieved by being bullied. I'm always the first one out front. He will do his best to make Chen Wan happy. It seems like there is only him in my world, and I seem to be born to live for him. However, until just now, Chen Wan's words were like a bolt from the blue, breaking all my illusions. I picked up the liquor bottle on the table, raised my head, and drank it in one gulp. My good gay friend Yang Guofu next to me looked at me with a gloomy face, which made me start to worry. Don't hold it in. If you're in a bad mood, let it out. Dad also has a new cup here, take it to vent. I listened to Yang Guofu's incoherence, but my heart was filled with worry, and I smiled slightly. My good son, Daddy, wants to go home. After hearing this, Yang Guofu immediately nodded and said, okay, let's go. If it weren't for your crappy birthday party, I wouldn't want to come. Pooh. Really? Come on, kid, let's go home. Then, without hesitation, they left the party without looking back. At this time, Chen Wan's best friend Bai Gu saw us and walked outside. He subconsciously turned his head and looked at Guogua, who was having fun with other boys. He originally wanted to remind, Chen Wan said, I am leaving. This is the first time I have left early at her birthday party. Bai Gu, who was also a girl, understood the meaning. She had mixed feelings, but in the end she just sighed. Looking at Chen Lan surrounded by stars again, it seems that there is no mysterious place to live. Maybe Chen Wan should have let him go long ago. I am sitting on the bus at the moment, looking at the street scene passing quickly outside the window. I just feel that every scene reminds me of the past with Chen Wan. When the car stopped at the entrance of the university, our story came to an end. I returned to the dormitory and lay on the bed, tears streaming down my face uncontrollably, which made me feel powerless. Then, 18 years of grievances all exploded at this moment. The founding father said, son, I don't like her anymore, I really don't like her anymore. Yang Guofu had a look of disgust on his face and said with a hint of worry, stop crying, son, take a rest. Get some sleep and everything will be fine. Yang Guofu, this is the first time I have said such words. He felt a little sad inexplicably, but at the same time he also felt that a heavy burden had been lifted for me. What is heartbreaking is that my love for her is as unwavering as the knight in the fairy tale, guarding her silently for 10 years. From the innocence of childhood, to the secret love of teenagers, to the deep love of youth, I gave all my thoughts to this girl. Because I finally forgiven myself, I have such a heavy burden. In a daze, I fell into a deep sleep. There was another incident. The banquet gradually reached its climax. Chen Wan and a wealthy young man who also came from a scholarly family danced a pas de deux together. He was sweating profusely and waving his arms. Then he looked around and didn't see us, so he felt a little unhappy. If it was normal, I would have handed him a wet towel to wipe his sweat. But soon, another smile appeared on his lips, what he was thinking about. I hide and feel sad because of what I just said, or I imagine some depressing scenarios. But half an hour later, I still didn't see my licking dog. He was impatient. He turned his eyes to Bai Ge and assumed a condescending attitude. Brother Bai, go tell GE that I will only give him 5 minutes. If he's not ready, don't blame me, I won't give him a second chance. Brother Bai looked at the statement that seemed to be giving alms, his eyes full of complicated emotions. Shenwan, don't you know that Ling Yi has been away for more than an hour? Bai Ji's words reached his ears. Shenwan's body suddenly trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. This is impossible. Nothing is impossible, be firm and decisive, it is not your discrimination, you are not a supernatural princess, no one will always surround you. What you said today is too much. Brother Bai. After saying this, she left her best friend for the first time and left the birthday party. Shenwan watched her best friends leave, and she stood there blankly. Was what I said really hurtful? Shenwan gritted her teeth, tears shining in her eyes, and her heart full of grievances. He looked longingly at the rich second generation and the second generation with money, and wanted to please them. Walking alone to the floor-to-ceiling window on the second floor, he hesitated. After gritting his teeth, he took out his phone, opened his address book, and started looking for my name. However, he quickly paused and searched his entire address book, unable to find my name. For the first time, Shenwan felt a little guilty. After so many years, she didn't even leave a memo. In the end, she could only find a few missed calls. Then, seeing a series of familiar phone numbers, he pressed the dial button. If you answer the phone within 3 seconds, I will forgive your sudden departure today. Shenwan bit her lip. However, we are sorry to hear that the number you dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later. Chen Wanman's face was full of disbelief. I actually didn't answer his call. You know, he and I have been in contact since we got the phone. My phone is open 24 hours a day. As long as he calls, I will rush to him immediately. Do you remember? Once, she was playing Truth or Dare with her best friend late at night and was asked to call a boy. Then, the boy must rush downstairs to the girls' dormitory within half an hour. Shenwan called many boys, but almost no one answered at night. Even if they did, you could guess that he was playing Truth or Dare. Finally, did he think of me? Less than 10 minutes after I received the call, I ran downstairs to the girls' dormitory wearing shorts, a tank top and bare feet. All the girls in the dormitory looked at my embarrassed look, including Shenwan, and they all laughed. That time, I was very angry, but the next day, I couldn't help but lick the back of his butt. At this time, Chen still comforted himself in disbelief, Ling Yi must be drunk, otherwise he would never not answer my call. Shenwan bit her lip, the delicate look on her face, matched with her character's face, was simply so beautiful. At the following banquet, Shenwan was completely in no mood and had to end it in a hurry, and the guests left helplessly. At this time, the driver will come to pick you up in a Rolls-Royce. He sat in the car, looking at the rapidly receding scenery outside the window, but he had no idea in his heart. He always felt that the scenes that kept flashing outside the window seemed to recreate everything he and I had experienced. Until finally, the car stopped, and his heart became uneasy at this moment. Did you get off the car? Shenwan didn't know how to get in. He lay on the bed and wrapped himself in the quilt. At this moment, his phone vibrated. At this time, he was very much looking forward to my calling him. Shenwan hurriedly pulled back the quilt, hurriedly picked up the phone and took a look, with a disappointed expression on her face. The caller on the video call was not her. However, it was her father, Chen Yuan. Happy birthday, baby. Sorry, Dad is on a business trip and can't attend your birthday party. But with Xiaoyi by your side to take care of you, we feel relieved every time when Chen Yuan mentions me. Chen Yuan could only force out a smile to prevent Chen Yuan from noticing any clues. After hanging up the phone, a self-deprecating smile appeared on her face. Don't worry, you are the first to leave my birthday party today. After saying that, Chen Yuan didn't know when he fell asleep. On the other side, Chen Yuan Gang put down his cell phone. A middle-aged man in a suit walked in. That man was my father. It's already early morning. What's wrong? What happened? Did that guy Lin Yi make Xiaowan unhappy? Immediately, Chen Yuan smiled bitterly and said, it's probably not because of this. I think it's because I didn't go back on his birthday. He might be angry. Okay, if Ge angers Xiaowan, you will want to teach him a lesson when you go back. After hearing these words, the members suddenly turned their heads and looked at Mingcheng. By the way, my aunt is already in her 3rd year of college. How long do you and your wife plan to keep this secret from my aunt? That person may feel resentful if he finds out that you have cheated on him. Although his family owns a listed company with a market value of tens of billions, he lives a more frugal life than ordinary people. Lincheng shook his head. Let's wait for a while. When he is a senior, let him and Xiaowan go to the branch for internship together. At that time, if he has potential, I will hand the company to him. If he performs poorly, I will hand the company to someone else. Chen Man got into the Rolls-Royce with a haggard look on his face and drove to the school gate. It attracted the attention of countless people. Chen Wan, I just got off the car. Bai Ge came over with a school bag on his back and said to me, Chen Wan, I was impulsive yesterday, I'm sorry. A smile appeared on Chen Wan's haggard face, and then she shook her head. It doesn't matter, if you want to blame the damn mistress. Brother Lai was also hurt by Chen Wan's words and remained speechless. Then, the two walked into the classroom silently without saying a word. Then I saw Uncle Yang and I sitting by the window. Chen Wan subconsciously pulled Bai Yao over, and then bit her lip. Supernatural, where are we? I heard Chen Wan say, of course. He immediately laughed and said, sorry, little Princess Chen Wan, I got up a little late today, you can find your own place. In addition, I am not obligated to reserve a seat for you, so please, Chen Wan, please don't use such a natural request next time. Thanks. When Chen Wan heard my words, she suddenly felt as if she had been struck by lightning, and tears welled up in her eyes. This time, Bai Ge walked up to Chen Wan, said sorry, Ling Ning, then supported Chen Wan who was about to cry, and walked back together. As soon as Chen Wan sat down, tears rolled down in large drops from his eyes. Chen Wan bit his lip and said firmly, this is mine. In the past, rain or shine, I would hold a place for him, never expecting anything in return. I had never spoken to him in that tone before. Chen Wan's heart was filled with unspeakable grievances, and she also felt a bit of fear. He used to love my eyes because he would always stare into them. I could feel his presence filling my eyes. However, just now, he seemed to have lost himself in my eyes. Chen Wan was absent-minded throughout the entire class. He just wants me to turn around like before. Their eyes were filled with ultimate tenderness. At this moment, I could feel his fiery gaze behind me, and I could hardly help but turn my head away. But I believe that if I just turn around and look at you, maybe we can mend our relationship. Chen Wan would even be happy to accept this opportunity to express her love. It is no longer possible between us. After many years of confession, we have all been rejected. This time, I was determined not to look back. In the next class, he kept pouring out his grievances to Bai Ge, even if his stomach was growling, he didn't care. Brother Bai, when I heard this voice, I looked at them, morning and evening, you must have not eaten. Hearing this, Chen Wan felt even more aggrieved. She turned her head and tears were about to flow out. This pen is very special. Every time he went to school, he would buy it in advance and put it on my desk. Brother Bai watched and talked, and shed tears again. His heart was heavy and he was full of helplessness. Because in the past, Chen Wan said that she liked to have breakfast at a breakfast shop outside the school. Therefore, I get up early every day and ride a bicycle several kilometers to buy breakfast for Chen Wan. Moreover, every time I buy something, I will wrap it tightly with clothes to ensure that the food is still hot when it is cooked. Every time he saw breakfast, he always looked impatient. Didn't I tell you not to bring me breakfast? Really annoying. Even so, I would still accompany Chen Wan with a smile, coax her gently, and finish breakfast together. He was looking at me expectantly now, hoping that I would look back at him. He was in pain. He mistakenly believed that if I saw him in such pain, I would definitely care about him. However, surprisingly, the next moment, he suddenly fainted due to hunger. For a moment, countless pairs of eyes secretly looked towards the back of the classroom. Only Chen Wan was seen fainting in by Ge's arms, her face pale. It turned out that this incident happened after his birthday party. He no longer had the appetite to eat, and at this point, he remained there angry. I hope that my stomach pain will be as severe as possible, preferably so painful that I need to go to the hospital. In this way, GE will definitely feel guilty and sad when he finds out. At this time, Bai Go looked at the pale Chung Chang and immediately turned to me and said, "Supernatural, the situation is urgent. Please carry it first, and we will send Chenwan to the hospital quickly." When I heard Bai Go speak, I shook my head and said, "Sorry, Bai Go, you'd better go find someone else. Perhaps, my distance from Chenwan now is what she needs most. And, it's not just me here, there are many people here. If Chen Wanqing was sober and conscious, he would definitely not choose me as his target. Like at his birthday party, he had nothing but impatience with me." Then, in front of me, she turned around and fell into the arms of another man, dancing with him in the starry night. When Yang Guofu thought about this, he felt very angry and said loudly, "Now I know that my brother is being blamed. What were you doing yesterday? You should have stood up for him a long time ago. Where have you been? What? See it? I want to leave. White oil, just stay there, like it every day for more than 10 years, like it, but it's gone in one night. After I left, Bai Ke had no choice but to ask other boys to help carry Chenwan on his back. This boy should have been in a coma. But 2 lines of clear tears shed from the corners of my eyes, and I kept regretting in my heart, Lingxi, I was wrong. When I saw someone lying on top of another boy, my body froze for a moment. Suddenly, an extremely depressing feeling came over me, making it difficult for me to breathe. Yang Guoshu noticed something was wrong with me at this moment. He reached out and patted my shoulder and asked, "Child, what happened?" I picked up a pen, tears streaming down my face, and tried to force out an ugly smile. "Okay, kid, daddy is fine." Yang Guofu's face was full of worry, and he said, "The best way to forget someone is to find another person." After listening to this, I smiled slightly and thought of a way to get revenge on Chenwan, which was to pursue her best friend Bai Ge.